Hello everyone, welcome back to the Violet Hour. I'm Bilicium and today we are continuing with Death Note. In the last episode we faced Shimio and now we are planning on going back into the woods to the shrine that we had been given a bit of a peek at. However, we will be continuing with Christy, who is our only companion at this point, as well as taking Mary, the living doll, with us. And unfortunately, we're gonna have to carry her up the mountain. Before we start, we're gonna have a conversation with Mary just to see if she says anything new, and then we will be heading out to the shrine. Is something the matter? Are you not heading to H Shrine? No, we're heading to H Shrine. To the forest we go. Before we leave, we put Mary in the back seat. Thank God she's not as heavy as she looks. I should be able to carry her just fine. Good news. By the way, Mr. Bilicium, have you read the files over there? I didn't know there were files over there. She points to the right side of the room and shelves packed with files. Not yet. I've searched most of the mansion, but I haven't checked the garage. Oh, really? Christy grabs a file and flips through the pages. Looks like articles on various crimes. The clippings cover every incident in H City and the surrounding area. Was Miss Cujo looking into criminal activity? Any of it looked related to the mark? No, not as far as I can tell. These are all extremely old. The most recent is dated 5 years ago. She puts the file back. All right, should we head out soon? I mean, we already stuffed Mary into the trunk, so yeah, why not? Let's go! I park outside the entrance of the forest and gather Mary into my arms. We make our way to the familiar arc. There's still a long way to go. A middle-aged man carrying a doll. You're practically a ghost story yourself if someone sees you here. Creepy! I'm very sorry to cause you such trouble. Mary stares up at me as I hold her. Her skin and hair glint bewitchingly when the light from the flashlight catches them. I have not been outside in a long time, and to go hiking in the arms of such a fine gentleman. This is a very precious experience. She sounds as dispassionate as ever, but is she actually having fun? Still, it is just as the rumors say. This forest is filled with the curses and resentment of the dead. Simply their presence is enough to drive the living mad. The land is tainted. I can see why it has given birth to monstrous spirits. I bet if you track down the cause of it, it'll be the divine wrath. Let's hurry to the shrine. Oh, sweet. Skipped all of that. We reached the old torii gate with no trouble. We stand and watch for a while, but nothing comes out of the beehives. They seem to be sleeping. It is most likely because Shimio is now gone. H shrine is up those stone steps. At Mary's direction, we walk toward the gate. A small black shadow flints across our feet. It's that rabbit again. So this is the rabbit you told me about, Lord Bilicium. You are correct. It is very cute. The rabbit stares up at the two of us, then disappears toward the shrine. What in the world was that about? What do you think, Mary? I felt a strange presence. It appears to be possessed by some kind of soul. So it's a spirit, too. Indeed. Though it does not appear strong enough to give marks to humans. We know nothing of its true nature, so please proceed with caution. We follow the rabbit under the torii gate and up the stone steps. At the top, we find the wilderness creeping in. There doesn't seem to be anything here but an old altar. Is this H shrine? Sadly, it has fallen into disrepair. The war was over 50 years ago. I suppose this was to be expected. That black rabbit is gone. Deserted shrines give me the creeps. Let's hurry up and get to searching so we don't stay here long. Okay. Okay, so there's 2 spots, 3 spots. I'm seeing a lot of headless Buddhas, and I am not okay with this. Or monks. Maybe they're not Buddhas. I shouldn't make wild assumptions like that. Alright. Hello? Oh! Alright, my wild assumption was not so wild then. Headless Buddha statues are buried in the ground. Creepy. I wonder what happened here. Yeah, who would behead the Buddha? The Buddha, the divine Buddha. I love the hand gestures. Oh, you can't see his hands or his hands. They're folded in. Okay, but like see here how he has his palm facing upward in his lap and then his other hand is upright with one finger, I think, touching his thumb. There's like a bunch of different, like, that one has it, I think, a little bit clearer. I read somewhere that the hand gestures have meanings, like they symbolize like different things like prosperity or abundance or well-being and things along those lines, which I thought was quite cool. I mean, kind of like old-time peace signs or whatever. I don't know. There's a sacred Shimanawa. All right, we're looking it up, guys, because I want to pronounce this correctly.
Shimwazda. Shimwazda. Shimwazda.
Shimwazda. There is a sacred Shimwazda rope on the ragged boulder. So, besides the pronunciation, which is fascinating, Shimwazdas are lengths of lace rice straw or hemp rope used for ritual purification in the Shinto religion. Shimwazda vary in diameter from a few centimeters to several meters and are often seen fastened with shide, S-H-I-D-E, traditional paper streamers. I wonder if that boulder is an Iwakura. What's that? According to the ancient Shinto tradition, it is a sacred rock that a god descended on. It's not uncommon for the rock itself to become an object of devotion. That rock has had divine feet land on it. Ooh, fancy. Oh, see right there, down in that corner? Those are the papers they're talking about that are laced into the Shaiwanda. Yeah. I kind of know my stuff. It's a wooden shrine altar. A clouded old mirror serves as a go shinta. A clouded old mirror serves as the go shintai. Looks like it's true that no one's taken care of this place for a long time. I peek inside the altar, just in case, but all I find is a thick layer of dust. The go shinta's outside and the altar's empty. That's concerning. I don't think there's any more we can search. The Buddha statues concern me. Why are all the ones within the shrine missing their heads? Shinto and Buddhism were ordered to be separated during the Meiji period. Before then, many shrines were dedicated to both. Each shrine was much the same. But in the Meiji period, there was a push to make Shinto the main religion. The faiths were forced apart. Extremists stole the Buddhists' statues from shrines and desecrated them. Oh, the famous anti-Buddhist movement. So this is where that happened? No, it was done in a public space as they wanted to make a show of it. The broken statues were carried here to serve as a memorial for worship. The Kujo family head was said to be aggravated, so he moved them in secret. It seems that all the broken statues from around H City were buried here. Strange. You say they were worshipped, but this place is pretty much a ruin. You have a keen eye, Lord Bilicium. The shrine was subsequently dug up and the statues were stolen. So they came all the way into this huge forest just to carry off broken statues? Who would do something like that? That I do not know. I merely heard they were stolen 50 years ago, around the time of the war. So the statues were broken, thrown away, then dug up? They say the Buddha was a wealth of patience, but even he'd get angry. Could that anger have turned to divine wrath and given birth to the mark and spirits? Mary? Have you been able to feel the presence of any spirits or whatever? About that, this land is much more foreboding than I had imagined. The enmity of the forest swallows all else. It is hard to sense beneath it. So, too much background noise, right? Yes, although I do sense the same presence as Lady Christie's mark, however faint. I am sure the spirit that gave her the mark is somewhere in the forest. So after all that, we were only able to reconfirm something we already knew. Forgive me, I was unable to. You don't have to apologize, Mary. We learned plenty of value here. What do you mean? I'll tell you on the way back. First, let's get the hell out of here. This place gives me the creeps. Maybe it's the ill will Mary sensed. Yeah? Just doing one final pass through before we take off, you know. Alright, go back. Left shrine went down the stairs. We leave H shrine walking down the beast trail toward the forest entrance. Maybe it's because of the strange tale, but for some reason, I feel like someone is watching us from the darkness of the trees. We begin driving back to the mansion. As we break out of the dense forest, I can see building lights pop up here and there. Well, that was a complete waste of time. My anxiety lifted. I don't even bother to filter the words that slip out of my mouth. Oh, I don't think that's true. It's all coming together for me. Without further prodding, Christy starts in on their theory, passion evident in her voice. I believe Shimio was right. H Shrine is definitely what's causing all the strange stuff in the forest. I'm sure it's those stolen statues. Don't you agree? I wonder. It feels like we just don't have enough info at this point to say one way or the other. But there's no denying that a lot of strange things are going on in that forest. Between all the suicides and Shimio wandering around, it couldn't just be coincidence, could it? If we research the shrine, we might learn more about the mark. I feel that's a lot safer than risking our lives looking for the spirit. Don't you think? You might be right. My replies are half-hearted, which isn't what Christy was hoping for, so she falls silent. An awkward, uncomfortable silence settles. Lord Bilicium, please stop the car. Mary speaks for the first time since we entered the car. What is it? I sense a presence similar to Lady Christie's mark close by. Oh no. We have come across them already. Following Mary's request, I park in a vacant rest stop on the outskirts of H City. Christy and I step out of the car. Ugh! My mark is suddenly scalding. Is something nearby? Look! Someone's over there! A small girl steps out of the telephone box. Why is a kid outside at this time of night? Thank you for bringing me out here this late at night, Ita. I got to talk with Hanayome. Oh yeah, glad to hear it. A rather round young man appears, stepping out of the shadows. You got your question answered, Suzu? Yeah, it's okay now. Hanayome sure is amazing, though she knows where everything is. You got that right. She helped me find my limited edition Love and Hero phone strap I dropped. What's Love and Hero? What? You don't know? They're a popular idol group here. They've been all over TV lately. I'm surprised you haven't heard. TV's restricted at home. Mom says it rots your brain. Oh, Ita, is the bus coming soon? Oh, the late bus is on its way. We better go. We'll be in a big trouble if your mom finds out we went out. Yeah. We watch from a distance for a while, but it's hard to determine their relationship. The pain from my scar is suddenly gone. Hey, Christy? What do you think? I turn, but Christy isn't there. Hey, you there. Just how do you know that girl? Depending on your answer, I'll report you for child abduction. Well, there goes Christy, hounding the poor guy. Just calm down. I try to placate her, but she won't budge. I... The man stumbles over his words. He looks flustered and overwhelmed. Hey, lady! Don't be mean to Etta! The girl rushes to stand defensively in front of him and glares at us. She seems a lot more level-headed than the flustered guy behind her. I asked him to help me, okay? I wanted to talk to Hanayome, so I had him come with me. Who's this Hanayome you keep mentioning? A ghost who helps find things. People say that you can talk to her from this telephone box. A ghost? Huh. She looks at me. We're both thinking the same thing. Earlier, the mark was hurting, so maybe. You guys look serious. What's going on? He nervously glances between us. Does this scar look familiar at all? I show them the mark on my right arm. Hey, hold on. What is this? That looks exactly like mine. He pulls off one of his gloves and reveals the mark on his hand. It's the cursed scar, yeah? I saw an article on it in OOP Arts Monthly. They say it causes amnesia, even kills you, but that's nonsense. It's not all true, right? Right? Sounds like he'd heard the rumor but chose not to do anything about it. That's no surprise, really. It's tough to believe it's real until your memory loss starts becoming noticeable. I've got one of those too. It showed up on my left wrist when I made the phone call earlier. Pulling up her sleeve, she shows us her mark. They both have the mark, and after calling Hanayome, that's more than a coincidence. Well, we can't just leave them here. Let's bring them to the mansion. We tell them what's going on and ask them to go to Kujo Mansion with us. It surprisingly doesn't take much to get them to come. I thought it'd take more convincing. Could partially be because they missed the last bus while talking with us. Before they climb in, I warn Mary to stay quiet until we get back. Might be a bad idea to freak them out. First, we introduce ourselves. The man's name is Ida Nikamatsu. The girl is Suzu Morimaya. They tell us they met through the readers column in OOP Arts Monthly. Suzu mentioned she was interested in Hanayome, and Ida told her what he knew. Then she pestered him into bringing her to the rumored telephone box. They were out this late because of her. Her parents sound pretty strict. Her mother keeps a close eye on her after school, and she needs permission to go out. So she snuck out of the house after her mother went to bed. Hanayome is just as famous as my school as Hinahiko is. Hey, Ida, please tell them about those rumors. Do I have to? Okay, fine. Ida reluctantly tells us at Suzu's request. They're just rumors I read, but... Hanayome. Hey, remember that one story? You know, the one about the public phone box in H City? There's a ghost that looks like a bride, and she'll find what you're looking for. One of my friends actually tried it. He went to the specific phone box that lets you talk with ghosts. The phone suddenly started ringing. He slowly picked up the phone, but all he could hear was this weird smacking noise. He stayed on the line until... Did you see it? He heard a woman's whisper. So he did what the rumor said to do and said, "No, I haven't seen it." Then she said, "What do you want to see?" His cat had gone missing, so he asked where it was. When he looked where the woman said it really was there. So the rumors are totally true. I want to go ask her where my future bride is now. Oh, wanna come with me? There. I carry Mary from the car and gently place her back on the sofa. Thank you very much. Being in your arms is not bad, but I am most calm when I am here. The doll really talked? I can't say I expected that. Then does that mean all that stuff about the mark is true too? On the way over, we updated Suzu and Eto with just about all they needed to know. They may not completely believe us, but they're not rejecting it outright either. It seems like Etta in particular has already experienced some memory loss. Something about forgetting the name of anime characters or voice actors. Christy looked at him strange, but he appears to be taking it quite seriously. And Suzu snuck out of her house because she believed the rumors about Hanayome. They both believed in the occult already. I'm pretty sure they'll help us find a way to escape the mark. Granted, they're also really curious about Hanayome. Pardon me, but may I speak? The marks on Suzu and Etta, they are likely from Hanayome. And Lady Christie, the feeling I sense from your mark is the same as theirs. So we can assume Hanayome also gave the mark to you. Do you recall encountering her? Something weird did happen. Right before I entered the forest, I stepped in the phone box on T Mountain. The phone rang out of nowhere. Oh, it might be because of that. The telephone box at the rest area is also in the rumors of Hanayome. But I didn't pick it up. It creeped me out, so I left. I was never able to give that person one final call because of that. Who are you talking about? It's not for children to know. Fine. So there are other phone boxes like that. I think there are 3 that Hanayome will call from. The one we went to in the A highway parking lot is one, and one is at T Mountain Rest area. That's the one Miss Christie went to. And, Etta, where's the last one? At the park by T apartment complex. It's the only one inside the city. But why just those 3 locations? Dunno. The BBS I read didn't say. Mister, do you really think Hanayome is the one who gave us the marks? Of course, maybe not. I'm not sure yet. I mean, my gut response is of course, because all evidence is leading to it. But the fact that it's giving me the option to sort of choose makes me feel like maybe not. I'm not sure yet. Really? But the rumors about Hanayome go back 5 years. And no one ever mentioned that if you call her, you'll get a mark. Suzu's right. Rumors about this mark thing only popped up super recently. So you're saying Hanayome hasn't always been giving out the mark? If that's true, I wonder what triggered the change. Of course, I can't really say, seeing as I don't know anything about spirits. A ghost helping people find what they're looking for. That's pretty strange. Definitely the definition of ghost story. Hey, Mr. Bilicium? If those rumors are true, why don't we try asking where the stolen statues are? If we return them to their places, it might just save our lives. Search for the Buddha statues. If Christie's right, we might be able to escape the mark without fighting a spirit. Mary, what do you think? A good question. Objects with human forms are easily able to gain inexplicable powers. Bleeding stone statues, cursed dolls. They are many examples. Historical statues of gods and Buddhas would certainly be no exception. Asking Hanayome about them would be a good idea. So says the doll before our eyes that has the inexplicable power to talk. Maybe it wouldn't be strange that Buddha statues could bring down divine wrath. Lord Bilicium, may I add, as I explained previously, your mark is different from the others. Vanquishing spirits seems to weaken your mark's power. It's been several days since she told me that I was going to die. Taking care of the spirits we encountered is likely how I'm still among the living. What are you trying to say? I cannot say what the relationship between your mark and Hanayome is, but it is true. It is in your best interest to track down spirits. I hope you will guide these mark bearers this evening as well. I can't really picture Christy and Etta facing off against a spirit by themselves. If they failed, then a child would suffer the deadly consequences. That would weigh heavily on me. No turning back. I'll figure something out. Thank you. Mary bows her head slightly. Now, you should begin investigating Hanayome. Why does she only call from 3 public phones within each city? Her secret may lie in the answer. You visited the parking lot already. Please investigate T Mountain and park by T Apartment Complex.
よろしくお願いいたします。
New info was added to the spirit file. Rumors of Hanayome, other. Ex-reporter, gutsy girl, timid nerd. I like it. We have to pick someone. Let's see, what do we have? We have no tools. What is Christy's backstory? Full name, Christy Aramura. Female, occupation, former news anchor. A famous former news anchor who was forced to resign because of a scandalous affair. She came to the forest to commit suicide. She has strong spiritual powers and often hears mysterious voices or sees ghost-like figures. Suzu Moramaya, female, elementary school student. A young girl who called Hanayome to ask her something and received the mark. She was raised in a complicated household and is extremely mature. The only thing childish about her is her love of animals. Is that really an immature thing or a childish thing? Ita Nakamatsu, male, occupation, self-employed, or so he says. An occult manic who's addicted to BBSs. He met Suzu through the reader's columns in OOP Arts Monthly. and she idolizes him like a big brother for whatever reason. This is the beginning of the hottest summer in the life of Etta, age 33. No. We're gonna pick Suzu. Yes. And then we're going to... So her power is 6, her intelligence is 7, her spirit power is 15. Wow, she's very spiritually powerful. And dexterity is 6. All right, so we said 16. I want to look at hers again. Her spirit power is 11, and her intelligence is 13. Interesting. All right, Etta. Let's see what you got, sir. His power is 6. He has the same power as the elementary school kid. His intelligence is 1 point lower than Christie's. That's interesting. Spirit power is 6. He's incredibly dexterous. 16. Wow, we got some heavy hitters coming out. All right, we're going to start with him because of his dexterity. And then if we really need spirit power, we're going with the little girl. That's my plan. Let's go to the rest area first. The phone booth stands solitary on the edge of a vacant rest area. An endless sea of trees stands behind it. Christy must have run into the forest after she heard the phone ring. I can hear a dog barking from nearby. It almost sounds sad, but I'm probably just imagining it. It doesn't seem to bother Etta. He's only paying attention to the phone box. That's gotta be the booth the rumors mentioned. Something about it just feels off, like everything's telling me this is it. Rumor says the phone is supposed to ring if you wait by it for a while. I'm guessing waiting outside doesn't count. Yeah, probably not. When I tried, it didn't ring until after I'd gone inside the thing. But the booth is too small for 2 people. Either I or Etta will have to go in. I'll pass. I am, kind of big. So yeah, me and cramped spaces don't work. I guess I'll just have to go in. It's cramped inside and almost impossible to move around at all. I'd be sitting duck if a spirit attacked me while I'm in here. The clouded glass makes it hard to see the outside. That just makes me more nervous. I wonder how long I will have to wait until the phone rings. To pass the time, I glance around at the inside of the booth. There's a poster attached to the window. Help our investigation! On the night of February 8th, 1990, an assault took place in the forest nearby. If anyone has any info on this case, please notify H Police Department. This is dated 5 years ago. Bro, they just dated this game so hard by putting a date 1990 something. Even if it was 1999, it wouldn't be 5 years ago. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's think for a minute. So 24 years ago would be the earliest it could be. So over 24 years. Looks like something terrible happened here. The phone begins to ring. I hesitantly reach out and pick it up. The only sound I hear is the dial tone. No one is speaking. What's going on? Suddenly, there's a strange noise. Crunching, smacking, like the sound of saliva as someone chews. Did you see it? Tucked in the smacking is a woman's voice. The voice is creepy, cold. It chills me down to the bone. Is this Hanayome? Did you see it? She asks a second time. Rumor mentions that I should say, I haven't seen it. Very seriously, I say, I haven't seen it. What do you want to see? It's going exactly as the rumor said. Hanayome is supposed to tell you the location of whatever you're looking for. Christy told me to ask about the Buddha statues that were stolen from H Shrine. I'll give it a try. Buddha statues? Lord Buddha? Doesn't your arm already have the mark of the Buddha on it? Tell me, you want a new Buddha? Why are you doing that? Tell me. Well, tell me. Tell me. Tell me. Tell me, 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 tell me. Tell me! The line goes dead. The woman's scream is still ringing in my ears. I feel sick. It must be because of the brush with that blood-curdling insanity. Why didn't she answer my question? What was different from when the others asked? The mark on my arm burns dully, like it's reminding me it exists. Maybe this is why she was acting strangely. And she did say something to the effect that Buddha gave me this mark. Was she just too insane to differentiate between Buddha and the monstrous spirit? Or is this mark really the work of the divine wrath from the Buddha statues? I wait a while longer, but the phone doesn't ring again. There's no point in staying here. As soon as I leave the booth, Etta comes up to me. You're drenched in sweat. Did something happen? I tell Etta about my conversation with Hanayome. Weird. No one mentioned that online. Etta's brow furrows in confusion. Anyway, why don't we get going to the other phone booth? There could be clues there. You could try there too. There's no time to get lost in thought. The last phone booth is at the park by T Apartments in the other direction. We'll head there after stopping at the mansion. It's probably wise to ask Mary what she knows, since it's on the way. New information was added to the spirit file. The second phone box. I don't have a flashlight here because there's a light in the phone booth. That's my theory. Return to Cujo Mansion. Oh, Mary. I tell Mary what happened at the phone box. You say Hanayome acted strangely. She called the spirit that cursed you with your mark, Buddha.
お疲れ様です。
I cannot say I know what she saw, but from what you said, she will likely not respond to your question. That does not mean she does not understand you, however. Use any method available to obtain as much information as you can. All right, Suzu, you're up next. I'm sorry. I really don't want to take a little girl with me, but in the same turn, you've got incredible spiritual power. To the park we go. I see a small park tucked between all the looming apartment buildings. There's no one here. I guess everyone's already asleep. I'm sure that's the phone booth from the rumors. Well, now that I'm here, I still have no idea why Hanayome hung up on me. I followed the rumors exactly. Where did I go wrong? I scratch my head. Don't adhere to the gossip. Defy it. Don't adhere to the gossip. Defy it. Suddenly I hear the strange voice again. Gossip. In other words, the rumors. What will happen if I don't follow the rumors? Suzu, go back to the car. There's something I want to try, but it might end up backfiring on me. Okay. Please be careful, mister. Oh, wait 1 second. I have a message from Etta. Oh? Yeah, he says there's new info on Hanayome. Here it is. Suzu hands me a note written by Etta. Don't talk about eyes or things like it when you're on the phone with Hanayome. If the call goes sideways somehow, don't say I, okay? P.S. Best to avoid anything that even sounds like I. What? Don't say I. There's nothing else. No, that's all. But Etta said that he wasn't sure it would help. I'll keep it in mind. Suzu returns to the car. I step inside and wait for the phone to ring. There's a poster in this booth, too. Just like the one at the rest area, this looks like it's been here for a few years. Young woman kidnapped. A young local woman was kidnapped close to this location. If you were a witness to this crime, please notify the police. MPD. February 8th. 25 years ago. I think the poster I saw at the rest area had the exact same date. Coincidence? Absolutely not. The phone rings. I grab the receiver and slowly pick it up. I hear a noise like someone chewing gum from the other end of the phone. An icy cold voice speaks. Did you see it? Nope. The line goes dead. I wait a while longer, but the phone doesn't ring again. I guess I should step out and try again. I'll wait outside for a bit and then try going back in. Okay, so it said not to use the word I, right? And so it was like, I didn't see it. And then I was like, oh, don't use that one because it says I, like the letter I, not EYE. So that's why I said nope, which is not helpful at all, apparently. So I guess I have to say I. So maybe the rumors about saying I aren't correct, or maybe like further down the line, like once she starts getting like hysterical, then I shouldn't use the term I. See, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it means like permanently through the whole thing. Well, clearly not. Initially, I have to say I, but then maybe I should avoid it after initially saying it, or I should say I all the time and be like, I saw it, I know everything, I am your biggest fan. I don't know. So the two posters are the most interesting points to me because I feel like they are communicating sort of the backstory. I think she's the missing woman, or she's like related to the person who went missing. Like she has some sort of connection with it. And then also the other one. Hold on. I want to look back at that. What was the other? Oh, what was the other one? Okay. Hanayome. With the end of the 90s, online infrastructure has advanced the popularity of a certain widely used BBS. Hanayome is an urban legend that sprung up from the BBS. It goes as follows. Certain telephone booths in H City will let you talk to ghosts. If you go inside one and wait, the phone will suddenly ring. Right? Pick it up and you'll hear a strange lip-smacking noise. A woman will ask, have you seen it? Rumors say you're supposed to reply with, I haven't seen it. She'll respond, what do you want to see? Someone actually followed the instructions and was able to find a missing pet. What a strange tale. A lot of people are interested in this ghost, wanting to find things or people who become lost, but not a single one has ever mentioned getting a mark from her. But the circumstances seem to imply the spirit gives the mark to Etta and Suzu. Plus, why is the spirit called a bride? If she appears as a bride, then someone must have seen her. 3 phone boxes in each city let you speak with a ghost. One seems to be the one Etta Suzu used. It shouldn't take long to reach the other 2 by car. I'm concerned about the statue stolen from H Shrine too. If Hanayome really can tell us where they are, that would save us a lot of time. There's only one way to find out. In the booth is a poster looking for info on crime that happened nearby. The phone rings while I'm distracted, just like the rumors when I pick up the woman's answers, smacking her lips, but I can't get info on the statue from her. For some reason, she's behaving differently from what we were told to expect. There's one more telephone booth. We better check it out too. Alright, well, I guess we go back in. Alright. It's not letting me go back into the telephone booth. It's only allowing me to return to Kojo Mansion. So we're gonna go back to Kojo Mansion. Alright, Mary says the same thing. I want to go back to the rest area. I'm not doing things in order, but the reason for it is why won't it let me go into the phone booth? Not allowed to examine. Okay. So, yeah. Exit. Maybe I can't use the rest area, that's why. I'll wait for Hanayome to call one more time. Don't adhere to the gossip. Defy it. I repeat the mysterious words I heard to myself. Do you want me to come too? No, just stay in the car. Suzu returns to the car. Oh, that's right. There was some weird advice in Etta's message for me. If you get in trouble while on the phone with Hanayome, don't say I or anything that sounds like it. Even words with this sound are dangerous. Who knows if any of that will be helpful, but I may as well remember it. I step inside and wait for the phone booth to ring. Much quicker this time. The phone rings. She's been waiting for me. I grab the receiver and slowly pick it up. I hear a noise like someone chewing gum from the other end of the phone. An icy cold voice speaks. Did you see it? I saw it. You saw, didn't you? You saw that thing of me. That thing of me. The voice cuts off. Oh, hello. Something outside collides violently with the glass of the booth, but I can't see it. Live or die. I'm so prepared for this. Tell me, did you see it with your own eyes or eyeglasses? A telescope? Telescope, telescope, telescope. Telescope! Woohoo! Safe! It sounds like something's searching around outside the phone box. You saw it. You said you saw it. What color? A beautiful color? Red? Pink? Green? Like green? Oh shit. Green was the wrong choice. You saw it. What kind of person are you? What's important to you? Your dreams? Romance? Love? Which do you choose? Love. I choose love. Love is good. I'm gonna choose love. Definitely my dreams. Romance is great. I believe in love. Nope. I don't believe in love. I was joking. Suddenly the phone goes dead. Am I too gonna go dead? Is this how I die? Someone knocks on the glass door. No, I'm on the phone right now. I can't answer. Is something wrong? Are you okay? Is that a stranger passing by?
どうかしましたか？
I guess they're wondering what's going on with me. It's a relief to hear a normal person's voice. Don't turn around. No, I'm on the phone. Keep walking. Yeah, sorry. It's nothing really. As I'm turning around, I feel the door of the booth violently fly open. Two dark, shadowy arms are in the last things my eyes see. The image burned into my retinas. Well, game over. Where do you want to restart? Honestly, I want to restart from like 3 weeks ago before I started this game. Because I feel like what I have learned is I would die a lot to ghosts. Like, they win every time. Every time. Actually, I want to actually start from my last save, and here's why. I want to reread the first poster because I can't quite remember what all the situation was with that, and I feel like that's important. And I think maybe there's clues in the posters telling me what color to choose, and if not color, then maybe what my last answer should be. Like, maybe I'm supposed to tell her my dreams? There's just not enough information. I feel like I kind of fell into that with very little understanding of what's really going on. So I am going to backtrack. Unfortunately, my last save point was the beginning of this episode, and I'm not going to drag you guys through it. However, I will bring you back for key points that have any kind of new content or information. And yeah, I'm going to bring you back for any key points that have new content or information, so that way you guys can kind of follow along. However, you won't have to rewatch all of the same cutscenes, and maybe we'll get through this in one sitting, like we did with the last couple of episodes, which is kind of my goal. I want to try and get through like a chapter in one episode. I know the last episode was quite long, but that's my goal. All right, so this time around, we're gonna go with telescope, obviously, because that was the right choice the first time around. Okay. And then the second one, I'm actually gonna go with red. It sounds like something's searching around outside the phone box. You saw it. You said you saw it. What color? A beautiful color? Red? Pink? Green? I think it was red. Oop. So a beautiful color is pink. Well, process of elimination there. You saw it. What kind of person are you? What's important to you? Your dreams, romance, love? Which do you choose? My dreams. Definitely my dreams. All right, not my dreams. So it's pink and romance is great. Suddenly the phone goes dead. Nobody's home. God, her voice is so good. You wouldn't even guess she was a ghost. She sounds so concerned. Like, are you okay? Do, 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 do. Game over. And over. All right, let's decide again. An icy cold voice speaks. Did you see it? I saw it. You saw, didn't you? You saw that thing of me. I saw the thing of you. That's such a weird phrase. The voice cuts off. Something outside collides violently with the glass of the booth, but I can't see it. Live or die. Tell me, how did you see it? With your own eyes? Or eyeglasses? A telescope? Telescope. It sounds like something searching around outside the phone box. You saw it. You said you saw it. What color? A beautiful color? Red? Pink? Green? Maybe pink? You saw it. What kind of person are you? What's important to you? Your dreams? Romance? Love? Which do you choose? Romance is great. Yeah. Everyone loves a bit of romance, right? Uh-huh. You survived. Okay, so don't tell her, but I'm like more of like a comedy kind of person myself. Romance is fine and all, but like, The phone goes dead. The next I know, the bloody handprint is gone, and so is the ominous presence. The questions she asked me were strange. She was particularly anxious about what I had seen. I think I did a good job not mentioning anything like eyes in my answers. Overly conscious over being seen. Maybe that's where her secret lies. I exit the booth and Christy rushes up to me. My mark started hurting out of nowhere. Did it go all right? I tell Christy about what happened in the telephone booth. I've no idea what that means. Guess there's no way she'd know the answer. Something's on the ground there. Sure enough, there's a folded up piece of paper lying near the booth. Looks like a piece of stationery. I don't think it was there before I went into the phone box. I pick up the paper and open it. To Seko, I'll dispel all your heartache. So forget that horrible incident and take your quiet rest up in heaven. An incident? The poster I saw in the telephone booths mentioned something like that too. Could they be connected? I asked Christy what they think. Christy looks deep in thought. What is it? Oh, nothing. Well, we've checked out all the boxes, so let's head back to the mansion. Something still bugs me, though. Yeah. We should probably head back for now. New information was added to the spirit file. The third phone box. It's weird that they call it a phone box instead of a booth. I grew up knowing them as phone booths, not phone boxes. I wonder if that's like a translation thing from Japanese to English, if like that's the closest that they would translate it to, or if it's more commonly known as a phone box, and I just grew up with a weird phrasing. Let me know in the comments below. Is it a phone booth or a phone box to you guys? Or do you even know what the hell this is? Hey, Mr. Bilicium. You know those posters and that bit of stationery we found? Could they be linked to Hanayome? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was hinting at with you when we were by the phone box. She might have been someone who was caught up in the incident and killed. And if that's the case, then... Christy turns toward the shelves with files. Files full of articles on criminal cases. The dates were 5 years ago, right? Then there might be an article on what happened here in these files. We could use more help. Maybe Eda and Suzu can give us a hand. Go ahead and call them over. All four of us begin reading through files. The clippings range from the smallest dispute to the most heinous crimes in H City, but they're all dated 5 years ago or earlier. Do they get stored in the garage because they're so old? After a while... I found it! The victim's name is Seko. The date is February, 5 years ago. Gotta be it! Christy lays the file out on the desk and we all peer at it. The file has articles about an incident that happened 5 years ago. The victim's name is Seko Hasegawa. Apparently, she committed suicide in the forest by H Castle on the eve of her wedding. She was in her dress when she was found. Oh, Suzu, you probably shouldn't read anymore. It's pretty bad. Thanks, Eda. But I want to know more about Hanayome. I feel like I need to do this. She's cringing, but she sounds determined. Between this and sneaking out at night, she's a surprisingly brave kid. It's rather odd for someone her age. I remember now. This happened back when I used to be a news anchor. Christy mutters just loud enough to hear. Then do you know the whole story? It was horrible. It's hard to recount. A woman was abducted by a gang while she was walking her dog. They brought her to the forest and assaulted her. People found her battered and staggering along the road the next day. The dog was run over and killed near the forest when it chased after them. That's horrifying. Yeah, but that wasn't the end of Seko Hasegawa's misfortune. Eda somberly cuts in. His usual grin is nowhere to be found. It's well known in some circles, but her assault was photographed. The pictures were sent to her fiancé. They threatened to make them public if he didn't pay up. I heard he gave them a ton of money to get the photos and the negatives. Is that true, Christy? Yeah, I heard that as well. Because of all that, Miss Seko had a mental breakdown, and in the end, she hung herself. She'd been a serious, honest woman, so she just couldn't bear it. The cruel fate of a woman attacked before her wedding. We fall silent as the reality weighs on us. Suzu timidly speaks up, her face pale. Maybe there's a connection between what happened to Miss Hasegawa and Hanayomi's phone boxes. According to the article, the incident that wrecked her life took place near each phone box. She was abducted by the park and assaulted by the rest area. She was found wandering near the parking lot by a highway. The phone booths connect Hanayome and Seko Hasegawa. The coincidence sends a shiver down my spine. So that note we found by the telephone booth, did Seko's fiancé write it? Most likely. What's strange is it was there and not where she committed suicide. Did Hanayome put it there? Maybe she was telling us something. I have no clue how spirits think, but if Suzu's right, then that note is an important clue for us. I seem to recall Miss Seko's fiancé was a famous musician. As a result, the case was widely publicized at the time. It happened right after they returned from a romantic trip to Greece. Old ladies were sobbing about how it made all the more tragic. And the poor dog they brought on the trip died heroically as well. Where's the fiancé now? Well, he began acting strange due to the shock and then went missing. Some say her suicide was to follow him. But he wasn't the only one who disappeared. It sounds like all of the culprits went missing too. You heard about that online too? Well, something like that. The internet wasn't the same back then. There was only hubs. Hubs? Like pre-internet chat rooms? Everyone was talking about it on the occult hub back then. There was one person in the community who knew way too much. I think he was one of the culprits. He brought up a bunch of things like taking pictures and all that. And I bet those were pictures of the assault. Yeah, that's right. After they were finished, those assholes got a camera out and took pictures of her face soaked with tears. The whole time she yelled, "Don't look! Don't look! Don't look!" Hanayome was an extreme reaction to being seen by others. He kept going on about it, night after night, until he suddenly stopped posting. People who knew him said they couldn't contact him at all. Those guys deserved to die, but it's still really creepy, you know? Suddenly, a line from the note pops into my head. I'll dispel all of your heartache. Hey, Christy? Do you happen to know exactly where in the forest Seko killed herself? I was a reporter at the time, so I did go to the location. But that was 5 years ago, so I don't remember exactly. I feel like I went west from that big arch at the entrance. So you're really gonna go? Yeah, we might be able to figure out something from Hanayome. Fine, I understand. I've had my fill of that forest, but I suppose we have no other leads. New info was added to the spirit file. Gathering info at the mansion. Ooh, all right, let's go to the forest. I hope Christy was the correct character to be bringing with me. This is more awkward than I thought. Being out alone with someone who, until recently, was planning to kill herself. Do you have something you want to say? She noticed right away. Was I being that obvious? No, not really. It's fine. You don't have to hide it. You're wondering if I still want to kill myself, aren't you? Is this a woman's intuition? No, maybe I'm just crap at hiding things. Don't worry, I don't anymore. People hate it when things are forced on them, right? Doesn't matter what it is. I can trust you, right? Yes, at least for now. Here's hoping she keeps feeling the same, at least while we're together. Just then, the tire hits a bump in the road. I can see a square gray object in the back seat through the rear view mirror. Is that thing back there yours? No, that's Eda's CD radio cassette player. Huh. Why something like that? He said we might need music during the drive, then went and put it in here himself. But we don't have any CDs or tapes. Should I turn on the radio? No, I'll pass. The conversation grinds to a halt after that. It's like there's an invisible person between us. After falling silent a while, Christy finally speaks up again. It only makes sense for the conversation to turn one direction. It's rather worrisome, don't you think? After all this time, they don't know. Who doesn't know? What? Those two. They think that spirit just helps you find things. What a naive fairy tale. Yeah. Christy is exactly right. You quickly become disillusioned once you actually face the spirit. But thinking about it, wouldn't that be best? Christy looks at me in shock. Wait, what are you saying? I just mean, our lives are on the line here. Would you stop joking around? Sorry. She's furious at me, but it looks like she was telling the truth about not wanting to die. She's got too much pride. Someone like that would never commit suicide. What's so funny? Nothing. Will we make it back again? I stare at the headlights and contemplate where we're going. That sigh was pretty deep. I can't believe we're here again. At least I can feel better knowing he's not around anymore. I almost remind her of Hanayome, but I stop myself from opening my mouth. I don't want to break her tenacious calm. Okay, it's supposed to be west of the gate. I look to the west of the gate again, but there's no sign of a trail. Strange. Maybe I'm remembering wrong. When I came here researching an article, there was a path to the west. Suddenly, Christy's face stiffens. What's wrong? I feel cold all of a sudden. I follow their gaze and see a low shadow dash out from the darkness. A dog? It certainly seems like one. It kicks up the dirt with 4 legs, but it looks off somehow. Its fur is long and disheveled, and from certain angles, its face looks human. The dog stares at us, growling softly. What is that? Are you trying to tell us something? You're being too gentle with it. You need to sound firm when you're talking to a dog. Act like its master. Weaker dogs like to bark, right? So ignore it and stay calm. So ignore it and stay calm. So ignore it and stay quiet. I guess that's true for humans too. Powerful people tend to ignore others. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. The dog barks loudly, then vanishes into the western underbush. The moment it's gone, the chill in the air dissipates like it was never there. Was it trying to guide us? Maybe. I shine the flashlight on the spot where the dog disappeared. A now familiar pain shoots through my wrist. The mark color grows more vivid. Early dawn, a few hours left until death closes in. There's probably not much time left. We better hurry. Let's check the bushes over there. New information was added to the spirit file. Investigating the forest again. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to meet you in the end. Alright, we're just having a wee little glance around. Let's go. There's a thicket of trees next to the gate. With the dog gone, I push my way into the underbrush. I spot the traces of what used to be a path. You could barely call it one at this point. This must be the closed hiking trail. The path goes west from the gate. That's right, I remember now. This is the path I took before. That dog, was it trying to show this to us? Who knows? Anyway, let's get going. Oh, forest, thine old friend, how I've seen you far too much in the last 2 episodes, but here I am looking at you all the same again. All right, we move forward. The last time we came to this area, we met a man who had an unfortunate fate. This time, there's a thing in the bush. Hello. There's something in the grass at the foot of the trees. It's a wad of paper. Feel it. I push the grass aside and pick it up. Found a worn-out talisman. When I pick up the worn-out talisman, I feel warmth flow through me. That's the good stuff. Got skull power. The worn-out talisman crumbles silently in my hands. I have missed those talismans, I'm not gonna lie. It's very nice to, every once in a while, just pick something up that doesn't try to kill me. Let's go to the left. Went to the left. It gave me the option. I'm already not good with this choice. Old path, side path. Yeah, it just shot right up at it. All right, let's just look at the everything else for a minute, okay? There's something in the bushes. There's stuff still in the bushes. All right, usually I go for the things that are on like the side of the screen first. But we're gonna try something out. We're gonna look at this first. And I may regret my choice, just so you guys know. But I'm doing it for science. I shine the light on the grove of trees in front of us and catch a glimpse of something odd. Huh? What is that? Something's posted there. I can't make it out from here. Don't get closer. I move forward for a closer look. Why does nobody listen to me? You had to get closer, didn't you? What is this? No, they're different women. And there are pins in their eyes. All thought in my mind ceases. It's as if I'm unable to process what I'm seeing and my brain comes to a halt. Are these photos? There are a bunch of pictures of different people posted to the tree. But they're all these photos have nails in the eyes. It's just as Christy said. For some bizarre reason, each photo has a person with nails driven through both eyes. Attach the nails with some kind of tape. Cold sweat drips down my back. What kind of grudge would cause someone to do something like this? Hey, all the people in these pictures, are they all men? Christy mutters are just loud enough to hear. Huh? I look over the photos again. A good number of them are deteriorated, so they're hard to make out, but they may be right. Yeah, looks like it. All the subjects are men. That's clearly not a coincidence. I feel a little dizzy and step back. Through my blurry vision, something flashes in the light from the flashlight. What's wrong? Nothing. It's just over there. Something sparkled up there. Something might be there. We should check it out. Up there? Listen. I'm going to do the thing that I wanted to do a while ago. Something is in the grass. I can't see well from here. I'm going to feel it. I feel around the blades of grass. Please be a talisman. Got instant camera. I've hit the switch before I realize, and a red light appears. Apparently that means that the flash can be used. It must still have battery left. Not that we're going to take any pictures with it. You're right. No, you're not right. I might start taking pictures. I might become an avid photographer to get away from a ghost. You never know. Personal choice hobbies. I turn it off and quickly stuff it in my bag. I decide it's wise not to mention the dried blood that's stuck to the bottom of it. Oh, the wisdom you have. To see is to perceive light. That distant voice echoes in my head. True, seeing something means you're seeing the light it's reflecting. But what does that have to do with Hanayome? New info was added to the spirit file. Around the tree covered in photos. Something up in the branches of the tree is reflecting light. Something must be stuck in the branches. The only way we'll be able to check it out is to climb up the trunk. Are you thinking about climbing the tree? There aren't any cavities, knots, or branches within reach. It'll be hard to climb up it. So, climb the tree myself, ask my partner, boost my partner up. We're gonna boost my partner up. This is just between us, but I weigh, she whispers in my ear, a lot more than it looks like, honestly. Like, I've been eating a lot since I've considered suicide. So, you know, like... Okay, that's off the table. Well, I'm gonna climb the tree myself. I take a deep breath and jump at the tree. I struggle to reach for a while and manage to touch the branch until I crash to the ground with a spectacular thud. Oh. I told you. Ask my partner? I refuse. There's no way I can climb that. Looks like there's no going to work. Alright, forget it. I give up and back away. I need a small little child who can climb up onto my shoulder blades and possibly reach said item. I am not taking Etta because I fear that he might weigh quite a bit more than Christy. We turn around and go back. And this is an interesting perspective. Did we see this before? I feel like we didn't see this before. All right. Going to the left again. I hear a low growl from somewhere. I can't see what's making it, but it seems to be watching me. Oh, we did see that dog at the gate. I'm not sure why, but I feel an intense hostility directed towards me. What do we do? Something's coming. The instant Christy speaks, the growling grows distinctly quieter. Except it doesn't look like it's letting us through. Let's turn back. We retreat without trying to force our way past. All right. So this tells me that we're done with Christy. That's what it tells me. All right, so to the right is the side path. So straight forward is the way out, I believe. And just because we're looking at it from a different angle, I like to double check all my stuff. You guys know, I like all my bits and bobs to be in place. Right. Let's get back to Kujo Mansion. Yes. Suzu Morimiya. All right, and then we're gonna pause here for a minute while I take a break, and then I will come back. I tell Mary about Siko Hasegawa. What a sad woman. Her grudge against the world turned her into Hanayome. If this is indeed the case, you may find a clue in the forest where she committed suicide. Instant camera. I have 5 photographs. An instant camera with dried blood on the bottom. There is film in it, and the battery for the flash still has a charge, so it can be used to take photos. If they come out is questionable. All right, let's go back into the forest. We move forward and to the left. Let's not look at the photographs. Something up in the branches of the tree is reflecting light. Something must be stuck in the branches. The only way we'll be able to check it out is to climb up the trunk. You're going to climb up the tree? There aren't any cavities, knots, or branches within reach. It'll be hard. It'll be hard to climb up it. So, boost my partner up. If that's all, then okay, I'll try. Please be big enough. I squat at the base of the tree and let her climb up on me. Up you go. I stagger a bit, but manage to stand. I feel like I'm one of the trees now. Can you reach? Just a little to the right. I'm almost there. Suzu reaches as far as she can with her hand, and I lose my balance. We both crash to the ground. Are you okay? I'm fine. Here. Suzu shows me her hands. It's holding the object that was stuck in the branches. Got dog collar. A collar. It makes me think of the dog we saw before coming here. Does this belong to that dog? I wonder who threw it away. Who knows? As I'm putting it away in my bag, I spot an inscription on the inside of the collar. Renta? R-E-N-T-A, or is it L-E-N-T-A? Or is it a D, Denta, and the D is scratched out? Or at Nuri? How are you you supposed to pronounce that? New info is added to the spirit file. The pictures on the tree. Sweet. How are we supposed to pronounce that? We turn around and head back. To the left. I hear a low growl from somewhere. I can't see what's making it, but it seems to be watching me. Oh, we did see that dog at the gate. I'm not sure why, but I feel an intense hostility directed towards me. What should we do? The instant Suzu speaks, the growling grows distantly quieter. I remember the photos. All of them were men with nails in their eyes. I don't know what this has to do with the dog, but if those pictures demonstrate the hatred that saturates this place, if I'm with Suzu, it might react differently. I consider my options. Show the collar or turn back. No, we're going to show the collar. I've got an idea. I take the collar out of my bag. Maybe it's a safe bet that the spirit was born here, so the dog is likely tied to this collar. I face the general area the barking is coming from and show it the collar. The dog appears like a gust of wind. Whoa! Before I can blink, it steals the collar from me. Live or die. When I try to quickly jump away, I hear Suzu call out to me. Mr. Bilicium, don't move! But I don't catch the rest of it. The dog rushes at me as fast as it looks like it's gliding over the ground. Oh. Dodge. I quickly dodge to the side, but the dog's torso twists to follow me. It can see through my movements. It bares its teeth and growls. Threaten it loudly, turn my back to it, pet it. Threaten it loudly. I suddenly yell, threatening it back. Provoked, the dog flies at me. Oh, dang it all. Wrong. The dog holds the collar in its mouth and stares at me. The collar has an inscription on it, doesn't it? I'm sure it said... Yenta... What should I call it? Oh no. Linta! 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 I mutter the name. The dog perks its ears. I say it again, this time more clearly. Then... Wrong. Oh no. Oh no. The dog fixes its gaze on me and glares, strangely piercing. Yeah, that's my MO. I just get me killed. All the time. Game over. Alright, decide again. So, Christy said to be firm with it. So I think I stand my ground. I don't try to run. I don't try to dodge. And then instead of yelling at it, I think I ignore it. And then I think it's got to be Ginta, G. Because I don't understand where the S would come from. Unless it's like a strange like Greek word and that's why it has those symbols next. Those symbols next to it. The dog appears like a gust of wind. Whoa. Before I can blink, it steals the collar from me. When I try to quickly jump away, I hear Suzu call out to me. Mr. Bilicium, don't move! I don't catch the rest of it. The dog rushes at me as fast as it looks like it's gliding over the ground. We stand still. The dog stops in its tracks. It seems confused that I'm not reacting, just standing still. It shuffles back on its guard, then prepares to attack again. It bares its teeth and growls. Turn my back to it? I break my gaze and turn my back to it. I pretend not to hear it threatening me. It growls for a while until it abruptly stops. Yeah, don't ever turn your back to a wild animal like that. The dog holds the collar in the mouth and stares at me. The collar has an inscription on it, doesn't it? I'm sure it said... It's gotta be Ginta. What should I call it? Ginta? Please don't be Senta. I will be so mad. Ginta. I mutter the name. The dog perks its ears. I say it again, this time more clearly. Then... Yeah, Ginta. The dog turns around and quietly slinks into the brush. It disappears from sight. Seems I somehow managed to escape death. I pick up the collar that was left behind and sigh deeply. Are you okay? Yeah, that was... I can't even say it was no big deal. My words simply trail off. That's all I can answer with. I pat myself down with my hands, but I don't seem to be injured anywhere. I did feel teeth bite into my hand when the collar was snatched from me, though. The dog may be supernatural. I hope it doesn't attack again. I think we'll be fine. It found what it was looking for. You're right. Is she right, though? Was that everything the dog wanted? Or does the dog want, like, bones, a treat, a master to give it loves and pets and snuggles? Like, I need confirmation that that's actually all he needed, okay? Not again. Oh, good. A sound like a rope creaks above my head. Silhouettes swing in the shadows of the trees. My whole body shudders with dread. Are those people? Suzu gives a terrified yelp. Speechless, I shine my flashlight on them. Nope. They clearly aren't people. Ugh. They're mannequins. The things hang by their necks from the trees are displayed mannequins you can find in any department store. Obviously, dolls can't commit suicide. Is this someone's idea of a prank, or maybe a warning to intruders? The only one who knows the truth would be whoever did this. Let's go. I don't think they're dangerous. They are only mannequins. They're only mannequins. Okay. Suzu replies uneasily. But before either of us take a step forward, I feel a shaky hand gripping onto me. We're going to assume that Suzu is the shaking hand. And that it's not, anyone else. Okay. Okay. So all the mannequins have something to share. A doll is mercilessly hanging by its neck. It has something in its left hand. Let's feel it. Yeah. Grabbing onto it to stop it from swinging. I open the hand and take what's inside. Found a worn-out talisman. When I pick up the worn-out talisman, I feel warmth flowing through me. Thank you, mannequin. I've got soul power because of you. The worn-out talisman crumbles silently in my hand. I still appreciate it greatly. More talismans, please? The doll swings uneasily from their ropes even though there is no breeze. Did we really need to have that conversation? A male doll is hanging from a tree. I wonder what the person who did this was thinking. He was thinking mannequins suck. We move forward. It's that dog. Suzu, be careful. No, it's okay now. It won't attack anymore. It's that dog from before. It starts digging in the dirt right in front of us. Huh? After a few moments, it disappears like mist. What was it doing? Is there something over there? Let's take a look. Oh yeah, Suzu has a love for animals, but also has incredible spiritual powers. So I think she's onto something. We're just looking at the everything besides the dirt. Because apparently the dirt is where it was digging. Yeah. Alright. It's the place where that dog was digging. Upon closer inspection, the dirt there appears to be a different color. Let's feel it. I reach out and touch the dirt, but the texture under my hand surprises me. The dirt around here is soft, almost as if something was buried. Give me a hand. You're going to dig there? I don't think we'll need any tools. Please. Okay. In silence, we kneel in this forest in the middle of the night and dig up the dirt with our hands. I feel like I'm robbing a grave. It could be that those words popped into my head because I somehow knew what we'd find. Distracted, I looked down on what we dug up. What we find is a corpse. It's just a skeleton now, but it doesn't look that old. Is that a corpse? Yeah. My reply sounds incredibly flat and uncaring, even to me. At some point, death has become familiar. That fact, and not the corpse, is what sends a shiver down my spine. I'm too comfortable with the world of the dead. I know this, but I can't escape it. One part of me observes the remains before us and reacts calmly. Just then, I notice something. What's that? There's something white in the skeleton's hand. I dig it out and discover it's a plastic bag. Inside are a number of cassette tapes and some kind of note. The note's deteriorated, but parts of it are legible. I killed them. All. One's assault to you. Now you rest in peace. What needed to be done. Now I die here. This forest, you passed a new song. Want, listen, heaven. The notes end there. Got 3 cassette tapes. It sounds like a suicide note, doesn't it? But these tapes. She looks at the cassette tapes. Why were they buried too? They look at the remains as if asking them the question. Of course, it's not going to reply. I don't... No. I trail off. A different voice is whispering in my mind. The last. The voice falls silent. The last? Wait a sec. The last what? Huh? Is something the matter? I didn't say anything. It's nothing. Sorry. Just talking to myself. Anyway, let's take these tapes with us. New info is added to the spirit file. Unidentified suicide victim. Oh, you don't understand. I have already identified him. Yeah, I know exactly who that is. And, that is the body of the dog that we gave a collar to. Ah, no. The mark burns scarlet. Half an hour left until death closes in. Ugh. Out of nowhere, my mark flares up painfully. The intense pulsing sets my nerves on fire. Shit! Are we out of time? I bite my lip and look at Suzu. Suzu? Suzu! Hey, can you hear me? Yeah. It's finally here. It all starts now. I grab Suzu and run. The spirit is closing in on us. Did I get in the car to go somewhere? Regardless, I'm here inside it, gripping the wheel. The mansion? I need to go back there for now. I glance through the rearview mirror at Suzu in the back seat. Suzu is staring vacantly out the window, with a slightly tilted head. The only thing out there is darkness. There's nothing to look at. Edda's tape player is laying on its side in the passenger seat. I grab it from the back, meaning to play one of those tapes. We quickly arrive at Kujo Mansion. Even if I discuss it with Mary, it's probably best to listen to the tape first. I reach for one, but as I do, I notice something odd. Where are we? I'm on an unfamiliar road, like I took a wrong turn somewhere. No, it's not unfamiliar. I've clearly been down this road before, but the route I was taking should have no way for me to come across this road. That's the only way I can describe it. It's impossible. Calm down. I must have made a mistake because I was messing around with the tape player. I wouldn't get lost on the way to the mansion. I've been to it so many times now. I just missed the first intersection and ended up somewhere strange, that's all. That's what I tell myself as I make a U-turn. But no matter how many times I go back... Damn it! Why am I here again? No matter how I turn, I end up in the same road. Right, left, or keep going straight. I still return to the exact same place. This is ridiculous! I hit the steering wheel. Maybe it was because of my outburst, but my mark starts burning with pain again. This is bad. Really bad. At this rate, death will catch up to us while we're here in the car. Having said that, we can't go back to the mansion. I don't think we'll be able to get out of this maze no matter how many times I try. In that case, what should I do? Where should I drive? All right. The highway was where she was. Kidnapped, right? The mountain is where she was abused. No. The highway is where she was found walking around after the situation, right? The apartments was where she was kidnapped. All right, we're going to the highway. I turned the steering wheel in the direction of the place that popped into my head. A highway. It's not that I have to go there. The destination is important so long as it gets me out of this situation. I hit the gas pedal and abruptly turned the wheel, trying to get out of this cursed trap. Finally, familiar scenery returns as if it was lying in wait for me. God, I hope I chose the right one. In the end, we're back here. The phone is ringing. I know exactly who's calling. The mark is dyed a deep crimson. A few minutes left until death closes in. I head to the phone booth. I've got Edda's radio cassette player and the bag holding Seko's memories at the ready. Mushi mushi! I pick up the receiver, but the phone immediately goes dead. Live or die. You saw, didn't you? I know, you saw it. Throw something, hit her with a tape player. Take a picture with the camera. Picture with the camera. Picture with the camera. I quickly grab the instant camera and use the flash. I'm sorry. The spirit shrieks, and while it's distracted, I tumble out of the booth. Ooh, that was a good choice. Yeah. Hoo-hoo. Once out, I spot out of the corner of my eye the spirit standing there looking down at me. The camera's battery is dead. What should I do next? What should I do next? Play the echo. Play the tape My. I stick My into the tape player and press the play button. I don't know this one. The spirit responds to the song. The spirit quietly drifts closer. What should I do next? Charm song? I stick Charm song into the tape player and press the play button. Listen often, dear. The spirit responds to the song. Oh good, I'm so glad you like that one. Are we gonna dance? The spirit quietly drifts closer. What should I do next? I have another one. Echo ballad, echo ballad. How do you like this one? Echo ballad. It's groovy, right? I stick echo ballad into the tape player and press the play button. I love. The spirit responds to the song. Oh, you're so close. Oh, your face is weird. You got a weird face, lady. The spirit is right in front of me. Hey, let me listen to the newest. Echo ballad? Oh, my. It should have been my. It should have been my. That's not right. It should have been my. It should have been mine. Alright. I understand. I can do this. Decide again. I just like to die first. What's... Ah, Lord. What should I do? Where should I go? It says it doesn't matter where I go. So let's try going to T Apartments. I turn the steering wheel in the direction of the place that popped into my head. T Apartments. It's not that I have to go there. The destination isn't important so long as it gets me out of this situation. I hit the gas pedal and abruptly turn the wheel, trying to get out of this cursed trap. Finally, familiar scenery turns as if it was laying in wait for me. We're gonna see if it's true that the location doesn't matter. In the end, we're back here. The phone is ringing. I know exactly who's calling. I head to the phone booth. Mom? Hello? Is that you? I pick up the receiver, but the phone immediately goes dead. And then the phone immediately goes not dead. Hello, it is you again. So good to see you. Live or die. Listen, let's not talk about what we may or may not have seen. Let's just take a picture together to remember the moment. I quickly grab the instant camera and use the flash. The spirit shrieks, and while it's distracted, I tumble out of the phone booth. Once out, I spot out of the corner of my eye the spirit standing there looking down at me. The camera battery is dead. What should I do next? Alright, we're gonna play it exactly the way I did last time, okay? I stick Mai into the tape player and she goes, I don't know this one. And she comes closer to me, which I'm not a fan of. The spirit quietly drifts closer. What should I do next? Charm song. Into the tape player and press the play button. Listened often, dear. The spirit responds to the song. The spirit quietly drifts closer. What should I do next? Oh. Echo Ballad. I stick Echo Ballad into the tape player and press the play button. I love the spirit response to the song. Girl, that face. The spirit is right in front of me. Hey, let me listen to the newest. All right, we'll listen to Mai together, okay? I play Mai. I stick Mai into the tape player and press the play button. Yes, that song was finished. Tell me that was good. Tell me I did good. There's a flash of light. I blink and the spirit is gone. We survived. I don't sense Hanayome anymore. She's gone now. Hanayome. Suzu is back to normal. I bet their mark's gone. But mine is still bright on my arm. I guess Hanayome didn't give me my mark after all. Then Hanayome really was Seko Hasagawa. What a sad, terrible fate, turning into a ghost after she died. I feel sorry for her. I hope her fiancé's song for her helps her be at peace in heaven. Should we head back? Yeah. Huh? The phone starts ringing out of nowhere. It won't stop. It's like it's waiting for someone to answer. My mark stings with pain. What's happening? Suzu collapsed, covering her eyes. Hey, what's wrong? My eyes hurt. It's the phone's fault. Stop it, quick. Hurry. Oh my god, is she gonna die? I grab the phone and hear a woman breathing. Immediately I try to hang up, but my arm won't move. You saw it. You saw it. You saw with your round little eyes. Well, bad little eyes. Get eaten. Suzu's terrifying scream echoes from both the phone and outside the booth. There are noises coming from the phone. Like someone stuffing their cheeks with gum. The phone goes dead. I can move freely again. I bolt out of the booth. Right near where Suzu had collapsed, a single eye, bloody eyeball, stares at me. I search everywhere around the park, but I can't find Suzu anywhere. Maybe, deep down, I'm actually scared of finding them. of finding the mutilated corpse missing an eyeball. Welcome back, Mr. Bilicium. It's thanks to you that my mark is finally gone. Too bad I didn't get to do much. I've read a ton of comic books about exorcism, so I thought I could help. By the way, where's Suzu? No way, you're lying. I'm sorry. Damn it! What did you... Why would you let her? No! Suzu! Etta crumbles to the floor, his sobs echoing off the walls. I await your return, Lord Bilicium. It appears that you overcame your fear and destroyed the
お待ち
spirit,
しておりました。
but there was a victim. Yeah, we beat Hanayome, but what happened to Suzu? Unfortunately, the spirit's festering grudge was not cleared away. The grudge then stole the life of one who killed it, Suzu. So the spirit got revenge? Normally grudges killing people'd be impossible, but then why was only Suzu killed? With that kind of logic, I should have been. I can offer a logical reason. The vanquished spirit could only affect those it gave the mark to. If that's true, then it's pretty ironic. That mean I was saved because it wasn't Hanayome who gave me the mark. The fact that you survived is at least a small mercy. It may seem cold, but please do not be overcome with regret. Yeah. That's not comforting at all. I could be next. I've managed to defeat 3 spirits now, but my mark still hasn't disappeared. It feels like that terrible fact might just freeze the blood in my veins. But I vowed to fight against the mark. All I can do now is press forward. Mr. Bilicium, may I have a word? I looked through the other files in the garage after you left, and I found this. She hands over a file that says H Shrine Findings on the cover. Saya Kujo's signature is in the corner, and Kujo family's guardians were housed there, so it makes sense that this was here. Go on, read it. Most of it is about how H Shrine was built and its history. It lines up with what Mary told us. Everything that happened from the anti-Buddhist movement to now is in here. But it looks like even Saya didn't know who stole the statues 50 years ago. Some pages are about H Shrines Go Shintai. Some pages are about H Shrines Go Shintai, the item that housed the deity spirit. The shrine has 2, a mirror and a small Buddha statue called Nijibutsu. The Nijibutsu should be in a brocade pouch, but I never saw anything like that at the shrine. I wonder where it ended up. The last few pages contain notes on an investigation into the stolen statues. It mentions a rumor that started circulating a few months ago. K Mayamachi North Road in H City. It's a back street that, due to the city's poor planning, is covered in manholes. Because of that, people call it Manhole Road. On a moonless night, a young woman who was walking down it on her way home from work. An old sign read, "Be wary of strangers." Suddenly fearful, she attempted to hurry her steps down that dimly lit back street. But she couldn't take a step forward. A noise, something heavy being dragged, and then a figure was discerned from out of the darkness. It was a woman with disheveled hair, wearing a burnt white robe. She cradled a headless Buddha statue as if it were her own child. The shadows and hair hid most of the face, but she could see her blood-red lips twisted into a satisfied smile. Terrified by the eerie sight, she turned on her heels and ran away. Some distance away, she turned to look back. But the woman was gone. The statues were stolen 50 years ago, so it wasn't that woman, but I doubt it's that easy to find headless Buddha statues. I'm sure she must know something. I asked Hanayome where the statues stolen from H Shrine were, and now there's an unexpected lead. What a strange coincidence. If you can find those stolen statues and honor them at H Shrine, the divine wrath will be quelled, and you might be freed from the mark. Another way that might possibly allow me to escape my mark. It's worth looking into at least. Oh, before I forgot, you should take these too. Documents on the Hasegawa case that we found after you left. Read through them if you want. It is almost dawn. We must end today's investigation. Please rest. Wah, Suzu. Etta climbs the stairs sobbing. I'm heading to bed soon myself. My mark's finally gone. I think I'm going to sleep well tonight. There's no reason for you to stay any longer. You're right about that. I'll be leaving tomorrow. Sorry, but even 9 lives wouldn't be enough to survive staying here. You said it. But I'm grateful for all of this, too. It gave me time to rethink my life. Ironic, isn't it? If I hadn't been cursed by a spirit, I'd be in the forest right about now. Christie's smile turns wry. Well, I'm off to bed now. Good night. Now then, Lord Bilicium, please find me when you are ready. Farewell. New info was added to the spirit file. The truth behind Hanayome. So what was the truth behind Hanayome? Strangely enough, the contents of the note match up with the rumors of the fiancé's death and what was in that other note. This is just a guess, but if I'm right, the songs on this tape probably contain his thoughts and feelings. If the corpse is her fiancé, then the tape may have songs he made or ones that are meaningful to them. So then what was the whisper of the last trying to tell me? Did he want his fiancé to hear the last song? The dog that guided us is definitely the ruined form of their beloved pet. If I can manage to connect all of this together when I face Hanayome, the truth behind Hanayome, it might have all started with the lingering grudge caused by that tragic event. Hanayome was likely Siko Hisagawa. She became a spirit obsessed with eyes in imitation of her fiancé's revenge. Their dog turned into that thing in an effort to save them. The info I got from a fellow mark bearer points to that as well. Her fiancé was a musician known as YMN. Back then, he made a name for himself by cross-mixing genres into his music, from rock and pop to classical and techno. Around the time of the incident, he had been working on a new album. The last song on it was My Holy, and dedicated to his fiancée. But in the end, the album wasn't published without the final track. The song and her fiancé's love finally reached Seiko. I'd like to think it's because of us and Genta. I hope their tragic tale has finally come to a close, but some things still don't add up. How did Hanayome suddenly get the power to bestow the mark? The answer might lie with the Buddha statue stolen from H Shrine. The files in the garage mention the Buddha statue were stolen from H Shrine 50 years ago, right during the period of chaos following the end of the war. Is there a connection? What's more, a year-old interview says someone witnessed a woman in white carrying a headless Buddha statue on the street called Manhole Road. Maybe I should look into that. Interesting. Are you retiring to bed? Yes, let's rest. Good night.
何かご用でしょうか。おやすみなさいませ。
All right. And with that, we are going to save and end the episode here. Oh. Before I end the episode, I've been thinking back and forth about this. With the loss of a person, I feel like maybe I won't get the best ending out of the end of this game. So I think what I'll do is I will play this through pretty much vanilla, just as is. And because I did have the failure, I'm going to keep it, and we're going to see how it plays out for the end of the entire game. I think it's really cool to see that ending and clip, and I think that if we don't get like a good ending because we lost a person, a mark bearer, I will go back through from that point and try and save her and do sort of like an add-on to this series. That's my thought initially, and then possibly go in and do a bad ending for all of them if possible, because the way I understand it, each chapter has a ideal, like, best ending and then a not so great ending. The not so great ending is what we just saw, where one of our partners will end up being sacrificed, whereas a great ending, everyone survives, and the worst possible ending is just, I believe, a game over, instantly I die, which we've seen throughout the game. So it might be really cool to see if that has an overall effect on the end of the game. But we'll see if it really does, or if it doesn't really have that much of an effect, then I won't go into further details. But that's my plan as of right now. That's what I'm thinking we'll do. So we'll move forward, get to the end of the game, and then after it's finished, we'll come back and try to save Suzu and see if that changes anything. And then if I haven't completely burnt myself out on the series, and if you guys are still interested, I will go back through one more time and try to kill everyone off but myself and see how that works. I think that'll be fun. Leave me your comments in the down below, and I will try to read through them. So if you guys have a preference, if you think this is a good plan, give me like a, hey, good idea. That way I know that there's some interest for it. It looks like there's quite a few people who are enjoying the series, and I wanted to take a moment and say thank you all so much for indulging me with this game. It's really cool to see people interested in it. I have been excited to play it for a while now, so it's nice to be able to share it and to have people appreciate it. And yeah, that is it for now. I hope that you all enjoyed. I hope that you will leave me comments and let me know what parts you enjoy, who are your favorite characters, your overall feelings on which ghost or grudge is your favorite so far. I think I'm leaning towards the one we just did. I feel like that one was probably the creepiest to me, right? I think the thing that makes it more creepy than Shimio or even Hanahiko is the fact that it transpires across the entire city, right? It's not located in just this building or just in the forest, but that it's sort of everywhere, transmitted across all of the city, into the woods, into the highways, and so that is kind of crazy to me. I feel like that's way scarier-ish. And then the sense of like trying to escape, right? And as he's driving, he's getting like constantly redirected back into like this place of like he's trying to go to the mansion, but he can't get to the mansion because it keeps putting him down off this road that shouldn't connect to any of the roads that he's driving on. I think that's also kind of like scary-ish. I feel like that was more creepy, like ooh. So those are my feelings. I feel like for now, that's the one that I will say I like the best. I feel like it had like the creepiest kind of overall feel to it. I also really love the fact that it wasn't just one spirit. It was actually like in concert. There was her spirit and her grudge, but then there was also like the dog spirit and its grudge working in concert with her. And I sort of feel like the dog looks sort of like human/dog because it's not really just the dog spirit. It's the feelings of her fiance and the dog. I think both loved her and both wanted to protect her. And so both of their kind of like wills or desires to protect her, because they lined up, sort of merged into this like one thing, like this person/dog that was like trying to protect her in the forest. And I think that's kind of a cool concept. And yeah, I just really enjoyed the idea of like that sort of playing alongside. So those are my like kind of overall feelings towards that. But this episode has gone on long enough. I'm going to end it here. Thank you all again so much for humoring me with this series, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode. But until then, and as always, do take care, everyone.